My beloved soul, listen closely because this message carries an energy that feels impossible to ignore. Someone has been thinking about you for a very long time. They believed they had you figured out. They believed they understood your heart, your intentions, your feelings, and even your future. In their mind, the story was already written. They thought they knew why you stayed silent. They thought they knew why certain moments happened between the two of you. They thought they knew what your actions meant and what your absence meant. But the truth is something unexpected has begun to unfold. The person connected to your soul, the one whose energy keeps finding its way back to you, has recently started seeing things differently. At first it was only a small realization. A tiny crack in the version of you they had created inside their mind. But that crack grew wider with every passing day. The more they observed, the more they reflected, the more they listened to their own heart, the more they realized they had misunderstood something important about you. My beloved soul, for so long they believed your silence meant indifference. They convinced themselves that if you truly cared, you would have acted differently. They interpreted your patience as distance. They interpreted your strength as a lack of emotion. They interpreted your calmness as proof that you had moved on. But they were completely wrong. What they failed to understand was that your silence was never emptiness. It was wisdom. It was self-respect. It was the result of battles you chose not to talk about. While they were making assumptions, you were carrying responsibilities, healing wounds, learning lessons, and becoming a stronger version of yourself. The deeper truth is that your soulmate only saw the surface. They saw the mask you showed the world. They never fully saw the storms you survived in private. They never saw the nights when you questioned everything. They never saw the moments when your heart wanted to speak but your soul knew the timing was not right. And now, little by little, the universe is revealing those hidden layers. Something happened recently that caused them to stop and reconsider everything they thought they knew. It may have been a conversation, a memory, a dream, or even a moment of unexpected clarity. Whatever it was, it forced them to look beyond old assumptions. Suddenly they started connecting dots that never made sense before. Suddenly your actions looked different. Suddenly your choices seemed deeper. Suddenly they realized that many of the things they judged were actually signs of courage. My beloved soul, this realization has shaken them more than they expected. Because it is never easy to admit that you were wrong about someone who meant so much to you. It is never easy to realize that the person you thought you understood was carrying a truth far greater than your imagination allowed. They are beginning to understand that your love was never weak. It was strong enough to wait. Strong enough to endure uncertainty. Strong enough to remain genuine even when no one recognized it. And that realization is changing everything inside them. Listen closely because this is where the energy becomes powerful. The version of you they once believed in is fading away. In its place, a new understanding is emerging. They are seeing your kindness where they once saw distance. They are seeing loyalty where they once saw hesitation. They are seeing depth where they once saw simplicity. Every memory is being replayed through a different lens. Every conversation is being re-examined. Every moment they once dismissed is returning to their mind with a new meaning attached to it. The truth is that your soulmate cannot stop thinking about what they missed. They cannot stop wondering how different things might have been if they had understood you sooner. There is a feeling growing inside them, a mixture of admiration, regret, respect, and longing. The more they discover about the real you, the more impossible it becomes to forget you. My beloved soul, there is a reason this message has found you today. The universe wants you to understand something important. You do not need to prove your worth to someone who cannot see it. You do not need to explain every chapter of your story to people determined to misunderstand you. Your truth remains your truth whether others recognize it or not. And now, as this person begins to awaken to reality, they are being confronted with lessons they can no longer avoid. They are realizing that assumptions create distance. They are realizing that fear distorts perception. They are realizing that love requires understanding, not judgment. The deeper truth is that your energy has never stopped influencing them. Even when they tried to move forward, your presence lingered in unexpected ways. Certain songs reminded them of you. Certain places carried your memory. Certain moments made them wonder if they had made a mistake. They pushed those feelings away for a long time because it was easier than facing the possibility that they were wrong. But the heart can only hide from truth for so long. Eventually the truth rises to the surface. Eventually the soul demands honesty. Eventually the illusions begin to crumble. And that is exactly what is happening now. My beloved soul, let me take you deeper because the most important part of this message is only now being revealed. Your soulmate is not only discovering who you truly are. They are also discovering who they have become without you. And that realization is hitting them with a force they never expected. They thought understanding you would bring simple answers, but instead it opened a door to questions they can no longer ignore. Why did they assume the worst when your heart was pure? Why did they mistake patience for weakness? Why did they fail to recognize the love that was standing quietly before them? These questions echo through their thoughts more often than they admit. The truth is that they are beginning to see how much fear influenced their decisions. Fear of vulnerability. Fear of rejection. Fear of trusting something that felt larger than logic. So instead of embracing the connection, they created explanations that felt safer. They told themselves stories that protected them from uncertainty. But those stories are collapsing now. One by one, every false belief is losing its power. And as those beliefs disappear, the real image of you becomes impossible to ignore. They are remembering moments they once overlooked. A kind gesture. A meaningful conversation. A look in your eyes. A moment when your actions spoke louder than words. These memories are returning with extraordinary clarity. What once seemed ordinary now feels significant. What once seemed confusing now feels obvious. My beloved soul, there is a reason spiritual connections are so powerful. They reveal truth when the timing is right. No amount of distance can permanently hide what the soul is meant to understand. And your soulmate is entering a period of awakening unlike anything they have experienced before. The person they thought they knew has transformed into someone even more remarkable. They are realizing that your strength came from survival. Your wisdom came from experience. Your compassion came from pain you refused to pass on to others. They are seeing how much love existed beneath your silence. They are seeing how much courage existed beneath your calm exterior. And with every realization, their respect for you grows stronger. The deeper truth is that they are no longer focused on the version of you they imagined. They are becoming fascinated by the person you actually are. That shift changes everything. Because real connection cannot grow through assumptions. It can only grow through understanding. And understanding is finally beginning to arrive. Listen closely because your soul needs this reminder. Do not shrink yourself to fit someone else's misunderstanding. Do not carry the burden of proving your intentions to those who refuse to see them. Your journey was never about convincing people of your value. Your journey was about becoming the person you were always meant to be. The right understanding arrives when the right lessons are learned. And now those lessons are unfolding. Your soulmate is standing at the edge of a powerful realization. They are seeing that the truth about you is far more beautiful than the stories they once believed. They are seeing that your heart remained genuine even when circumstances were complicated. They are seeing that your spirit remained strong even when life tested you. They are seeing that your love carried a depth they failed to recognize. And as this awareness grows, so does their desire to know you on a deeper level. My beloved soul, the energy surrounding this connection feels like the end of confusion and the beginning of clarity. The walls built from misunderstanding are weakening. The distance created by false assumptions is shrinking. What remains is something far more authentic. A chance to see each other clearly. A chance to understand what was hidden. A chance to recognize truths that were always present beneath the surface. The universe has a way of revealing reality at exactly the right moment. Not too early. Not too late. Exactly when the soul is ready to receive it. And your soulmate is reaching that moment now. They thought they knew the truth about you. They believed they had all the answers. They believed the story was already complete. But they were completely wrong. The real truth is far more powerful than anything they imagined. And as that truth continues to unfold, it is creating a transformation that neither of you will be able to ignore. The chapter ahead carries the energy of recognition, understanding, and revelation. What was misunderstood is being clarified. What was hidden is being revealed. And what was once doubted is finally being seen for what it has always been, something real, something meaningful, and something impossible to forget. My beloved soul, listen closely because the story does not end with their realization. In many ways, that realization was only the beginning. The moment they understood they had been wrong about you, a deeper transformation started taking place inside them. At first, they tried to ignore it. They told themselves it was just a passing thought, just another memory drifting through their mind. But the truth refused to disappear. Every day, new pieces of understanding continued to arrive. Every day, another illusion fell away. Every day, they found themselves looking back at the connection from a completely different perspective. The person they once believed they understood now seemed far more extraordinary than they had ever imagined. And what surprised them most was not what they learned about you. It was what they learned about themselves. Because when someone realizes they misunderstood a soul who genuinely mattered to them, they are forced to confront their own fears, their own mistakes, and the walls they built around their heart. My beloved soul, your soulmate is beginning to see how often fear disguised itself as certainty. They were so convinced they knew the truth that they never stopped to question their assumptions. They were so focused on protecting themselves that they failed to recognize what was standing right in front of them. And now that awareness is creating a storm of emotions within them. There are moments when they feel regret. Moments when they wish they could return to certain conversations and hear your words differently. Moments when they wish they had asked more questions instead of making conclusions. Moments when they wish they had trusted the connection instead of their doubts. The deeper truth is that they are realizing your silence was never rejection. It was restraint. It was patience. It was a strength they did not understand at the time. They are beginning to see that while they were searching for obvious signs, you were expressing your truth in quieter ways. Through consistency. Through loyalty. Through energy. Through the countless things you did without expecting recognition. And now those forgotten moments are returning to them one after another. A memory they once ignored suddenly feels important. A conversation they once dismissed suddenly feels meaningful. A look they once overlooked suddenly feels unforgettable. My beloved soul, the universe has a mysterious way of bringing hidden truths into the light. When the time is right, the heart begins to notice things it was blind to before. And that is exactly what is happening. Your soulmate is no longer seeing you through the lens of fear. They are seeing you through the lens of truth. They are noticing how genuine you were. They are noticing how much courage it took for you to remain yourself despite everything you faced. They are noticing how your heart continued to radiate kindness even when life gave you reasons to become cold. These realizations are not small. They are changing the entire way they view the connection. They are changing the entire way they view you. And perhaps most importantly, they are changing the entire way they view themselves. Because every truth about you is reflecting a lesson back to them. Every realization is showing them something they need to heal within their own heart. Listen closely because this part is important. Sometimes people do not recognize the value of a soul until they are forced to experience life without that soul's presence. Sometimes distance becomes the teacher that clarity could not be. Sometimes absence becomes the mirror that reveals what was always there. And your soulmate is beginning to understand that lesson now. There are moments when they find themselves wondering what you are doing. Moments when they wonder if you still think about them. Moments when they wonder whether the connection can ever become what it was always meant to be. They may not say these things aloud. They may keep them hidden behind a calm exterior. But the thoughts continue to grow stronger. The questions continue to grow louder. And the truth continues to move closer to the surface. My beloved soul, let me take you even deeper because something powerful is happening beneath the visible world. While your soulmate is uncovering the truth about you, your energy is also teaching them something about unconditional love. Not the fantasy version of love. Not the dramatic version. But the real version. The version that survives misunderstanding. The version that remains steady even when circumstances become complicated. The version that does not need constant validation to exist. They are beginning to realize that what connected them to you was never ordinary attraction. It was never a temporary fascination. It was something deeper. Something that continued to exist even when they tried to explain it away. Even when they convinced themselves the connection did not matter, a part of them kept returning to you. A part of them kept wondering. A part of them kept searching for answers. And now they understand why. The truth is that your soul left an imprint on their heart. Not because you forced it. Not because you demanded attention. But because authenticity leaves a mark that cannot easily be erased. My beloved soul, there is a quiet moment approaching in their journey. A moment when all the pieces finally come together. A moment when they stop fighting what they feel. A moment when they stop running from what they know. In that moment, they will see the connection with a clarity they have never experienced before. They will understand that many of their fears were based on assumptions rather than reality. They will understand that many of the stories they told themselves were created to protect them from vulnerability. They will understand that the truth about you was never hidden. It was simply waiting for them to become ready enough to see it. And when that moment arrives, everything changes. Because awareness creates responsibility. Once someone sees the truth, they can no longer pretend they do not know it. Once someone recognizes the value of a connection, they can no longer dismiss it so easily. Once someone understands the depth of another person's heart, they can no longer reduce that person to old assumptions. The deeper truth is that your soulmate is approaching that threshold now. They are standing between the old version of their understanding and the new one. Between illusion and reality. Between fear and courage. Between doubt and truth. And every step forward brings them closer to a realization that will reshape their perspective forever. My beloved soul, if you have been wondering whether your authenticity mattered, let this message answer that question. It mattered more than you know. If you have been wondering whether your kindness was seen, it was. If you have been wondering whether your strength was recognized, it is being recognized now. Not by force. Not by persuasion. But through the natural unfolding of truth itself. The universe does not rush these lessons. It allows them to arrive at the exact moment they can create the greatest transformation. And that transformation is happening. Slowly. Powerfully. Unavoidably. The person who once thought they knew everything about you is discovering there was so much more beneath the surface. They are discovering a depth they never expected. A resilience they never fully appreciated. A love they never completely understood. And as this discovery continues, it becomes impossible for them to see you the same way again. The old image is gone. The old assumptions are fading. The old misunderstandings are losing their power. What remains is something real. Something honest. Something undeniable. And the deeper they step into that truth, the more they realize that the greatest mistake they ever made was believing they already knew your story before taking the time to understand your heart. The chapter ahead is not defined by confusion. It is defined by revelation. It is defined by awakening. It is defined by the moment when hidden truths finally become impossible to ignore. And my beloved soul, that moment is drawing closer with every passing day. My beloved soul, listen carefully because the energy surrounding this message is becoming even stronger. What your soulmate is experiencing now is not a simple realization that appears one day and disappears the next. No, this is something much deeper. It is a shift happening at the level of the soul. It is the kind of awakening that changes the way a person sees the past, the present, and even the future. The truth is that ever since they began questioning what they thought they knew about you, they have been unable to stop. Every answer has led to another question. Every realization has opened the door to another layer of understanding. It is as if they have stepped into a room they never knew existed, and inside that room are memories, emotions, and truths they can no longer ignore. My beloved soul, there are moments when they sit alone and replay the connection in their mind. They remember conversations they once considered ordinary. They remember moments that seemed insignificant at the time. But now those memories feel different. Now they carry a weight they did not carry before. Suddenly they notice details they missed. Suddenly they understand emotions they overlooked. Suddenly they realize that many of the things they once misunderstood were actually reflections of your deepest qualities. The deeper truth is that your soulmate is beginning to see how much strength existed within you all along. They are beginning to understand that your calmness was not weakness. It was wisdom. Your patience was not hesitation. It was maturity. Your silence was not indifference. It was self-control. And every time they uncover another truth like this, they feel both admiration and regret. Admiration because they are finally seeing the incredible person you truly are. Regret because they did not see it sooner. My beloved soul, there is a lesson unfolding within their heart right now. A lesson about perception. A lesson about assumptions. A lesson about how easy it is to misunderstand someone when fear is allowed to guide the mind. They are realizing that they spent so much time trying to predict your intentions that they forgot to simply trust your energy. They spent so much time looking for proof that they overlooked the evidence that was already there. The way you showed up. The way you cared. The way you remained true to yourself even when circumstances were difficult. These things are becoming impossible for them to ignore. And as they recognize them, a powerful feeling is growing inside them. It is a feeling of respect. Genuine respect. The kind of respect that can only come from seeing someone clearly. The kind of respect that can only come from understanding the truth after living in misunderstanding. Listen closely because this part is important. The universe often allows misunderstandings to exist for a reason. Not to punish people, but to teach them. Sometimes a soul must lose clarity before it learns the value of truth. Sometimes a person must believe the wrong story before they are ready to discover the right one. And your soulmate is living through that lesson now. Every assumption they once held is being challenged. Every conclusion they once believed is being questioned. Every false narrative is being replaced by something more authentic. And with each passing day, they are becoming more aware of how deeply you impacted their life. My beloved soul, whether they admit it or not, your presence has never truly left them. There have been moments when they tried to focus on other things. Moments when they attempted to move forward without looking back. Moments when they convinced themselves that the connection was no longer important. But despite all those efforts, your energy remained. It appeared in unexpected memories. It appeared in dreams. It appeared in quiet moments when they least expected it. And now they understand why. They understand that the connection remained because it was never built on illusion. It was built on something real. Something meaningful. Something that could not simply disappear because they chose to ignore it. The deeper truth is that your soulmate is beginning to feel gratitude. Gratitude for your patience. Gratitude for your authenticity. Gratitude for the lessons your presence brought into their life. Even if they have not expressed that gratitude yet, it is growing within them. And that gratitude is transforming the way they think about you. No longer are they focused on the assumptions they once made. Now they are focused on understanding who you truly are. Now they are focused on recognizing the qualities they failed to appreciate before. Now they are focused on seeing the truth that was always there, waiting patiently to be discovered. My beloved soul, let me take you even deeper because there is something extraordinary happening beneath the surface of this connection. As your soulmate uncovers the truth about you, they are also uncovering hidden truths about themselves. They are realizing that some of the things they believed about you were actually reflections of their own fears. They are realizing that some of their doubts came from wounds they never healed. They are realizing that some of their judgments were created by experiences that had nothing to do with you at all. And this awareness is changing them. It is helping them become more honest with themselves. It is helping them become more emotionally mature. It is helping them see life through a different lens. My beloved soul, growth is rarely comfortable. Awakening is rarely easy. When someone is forced to confront their mistakes, they often experience discomfort before they experience peace. And that is exactly where your soulmate is now. They are standing in the space between who they used to be and who they are becoming. A space where old beliefs are breaking apart and new understanding is taking shape. A space where the truth can no longer be avoided. The more they grow, the more they realize how remarkable your journey has been. They see how much you endured without losing your kindness. They see how many challenges you faced without becoming bitter. They see how many reasons you had to give up, yet you continued moving forward. These realizations inspire them. They challenge them. They make them want to become a better version of themselves. And that, my beloved soul, is one of the most powerful effects a genuine soul connection can have. It does not simply create emotion. It creates transformation. It inspires growth. It encourages healing. It reveals truths that would otherwise remain hidden. Listen closely because this message carries an important reminder for you as well. You do not need to chase understanding. You do not need to force recognition. You do not need to convince anyone of your value. Your truth has its own power. Your authenticity has its own voice. And sooner or later, people see what is real. They may not see it immediately. They may not see it when you want them to. But truth has a way of revealing itself. And that is exactly what is happening now. Your soulmate is seeing the truth. Not because you argued for it. Not because you demanded it. But because reality can only be hidden for so long. The deeper truth is that the connection is entering a new phase. A phase where clarity replaces confusion. A phase where understanding replaces assumption. A phase where respect replaces doubt. Your soulmate is no longer looking at you through the eyes of fear. They are beginning to look at you through the eyes of appreciation. Through the eyes of wisdom. Through the eyes of someone who finally understands what they almost failed to recognize. My beloved soul, the story is far from over. In fact, the most meaningful chapters are only beginning to unfold. Every realization they experience is bringing them closer to a deeper understanding of the connection. Every lesson they learn is helping them release old fears. Every truth they discover is helping them see you more clearly. And as this process continues, one thing becomes impossible to deny. The person they thought they knew was only a small part of who you truly are. The real you is stronger than they imagined. Wiser than they imagined. More resilient than they imagined. More extraordinary than they imagined. And now that they are finally seeing that truth, their heart will never be able to return to the old story again. The illusion has ended. The awakening has begun. And the truth about you is becoming brighter with every passing day. My beloved soul, listen closely, because what is unfolding now carries a depth that few people ever truly experience. The awakening happening within your soulmate is no longer just about correcting a misunderstanding. It has become something much bigger than that. It has become a journey of truth. A journey that is leading them through every memory, every feeling, every unanswered question they once tried to leave behind. The more they learn, the more they realize how much they never understood. The more they reflect, the more they recognize how often they viewed the connection through the lens of fear instead of the lens of love. And now, as the fog begins to clear, they are seeing something they never expected to find. They are seeing you. Not the version they created in their imagination. Not the version shaped by assumptions and doubts. But the real you. The person who continued moving forward even when life was difficult. The person who carried burdens without asking for sympathy. The person who remained kind in situations that could have turned others cold. My beloved soul, there is a profound difference between knowing facts about someone and truly understanding their heart. Your soulmate knew facts. They knew pieces of your story. They knew fragments of your personality. But they did not understand your heart. They did not understand the strength hidden behind your silence. They did not understand the courage hidden behind your patience. They did not understand the love hidden behind your restraint. And now that understanding is beginning to arrive, it is changing everything inside them. There are moments when they find themselves staring into space, completely lost in thought. Moments when they replay old conversations and suddenly hear meanings they never heard before. Moments when they remember your words and realize you were trying to show them the truth all along. The deeper truth is that they are beginning to feel humbled. Humbled by the realization that they were wrong. Humbled by the realization that your character was stronger than they gave you credit for. humbled by the realization that while they were questioning your intentions, you were simply trying to navigate life with honesty and integrity. My beloved soul, awakening often begins with a single realization, but it rarely ends there. One truth leads to another. One lesson opens the door to the next. And that is exactly what is happening. The realization that they misunderstood you has led them to examine every assumption they ever made. It has led them to question every fear that influenced their decisions. It has led them to confront parts of themselves they would rather avoid. And although this process is uncomfortable, it is also transforming them. Every day they are becoming more aware. Every day they are becoming more honest. Every day they are becoming more capable of seeing reality instead of illusion. Listen closely because this is important. There is a difference between someone missing you and someone finally understanding your value. Missing you can be temporary. Understanding your value changes everything. And your soulmate is moving beyond simple longing. They are entering a space of genuine recognition. They are beginning to understand that your presence brought something unique into their life. Something that could not easily be replaced. Something that could not easily be forgotten. The deeper truth is that they are realizing how much your energy influenced them even when they pretended otherwise. They are realizing how many lessons they learned simply by knowing you. They are realizing how often your example inspired them without them even recognizing it at the time. And with each realization, their respect grows stronger. Their appreciation grows deeper. Their understanding becomes clearer. My beloved soul, there are moments when the universe quietly reveals what words cannot explain. Moments when a person suddenly sees the bigger picture. Moments when all the scattered pieces come together. Your soulmate is approaching one of those moments. A moment when they will no longer be able to deny what their heart knows. A moment when the truth will feel too obvious to ignore. A moment when they will fully understand that the person they thought they had figured out was actually far more extraordinary than they ever imagined. And when that moment arrives, it will not feel like a dramatic explosion. It will feel like clarity. It will feel like finally waking up after a long dream. It will feel like seeing a familiar landscape for the first time in daylight. Everything will suddenly make sense. The conversations. The silences. The emotions. The connection. The lessons. The memories. All of it will fit together in a way they never thought possible. My beloved soul, let me take you deeper because there is another layer to this story that must be revealed. As your soulmate learns the truth about you, they are also beginning to understand the value of timing. For a long time, they believed that if something was meant to happen, it would happen immediately. They believed that certainty should arrive instantly. They believed that meaningful connections should always be easy to understand. But life has been teaching them a different lesson. It has been teaching them that some truths require patience. Some connections require growth. Some understandings require experience. And now they are seeing how much they needed to learn before they could truly appreciate what was in front of them. My beloved soul, the person they were in the past is not the person they are becoming now. The fears that once controlled them are losing their power. The assumptions that once guided them are falling apart. The doubts that once seemed convincing are being replaced by wisdom. And as this transformation continues, they are finding themselves drawn back to the connection in ways they cannot explain. Not because of obsession. Not because of fantasy. But because truth has a magnetic quality. Once someone recognizes something real, it becomes difficult to ignore. Once someone understands the value of a person, that understanding leaves a permanent mark. And your soulmate is discovering that mark within their own heart. They are discovering that your influence never truly disappeared. It simply waited beneath the surface until they were ready to acknowledge it. The deeper truth is that your authenticity has become one of the most powerful lessons in their life. You remained yourself when it would have been easier to pretend. You remained genuine when it would have been easier to wear a mask. You remained patient when it would have been easier to react emotionally. And now they understand the strength required to do those things. They understand the courage it took. They understand the wisdom behind it. My beloved soul, if there were moments when you felt unseen, know that those moments are being balanced by understanding now. If there were moments when you felt misunderstood, know that clarity is replacing confusion. If there were moments when you questioned whether your truth mattered, know that it mattered more than you realize. Because truth leaves an imprint. Authenticity leaves an imprint. Love leaves an imprint. And those imprints do not disappear simply because someone fails to recognize them immediately. Listen closely because this message carries a final revelation for this chapter. Your soulmate once believed they knew the truth about you. They believed they had all the answers. They believed they understood the story. But now they are standing before a reality far greater than anything they expected. A reality that reveals your resilience, your wisdom, your strength, your compassion, your depth. They are realizing that the greatest mistake they made was assuming they already understood you. And the greatest lesson they are learning is that real understanding requires humility. It requires patience. It requires an open heart. As this lesson continues to unfold, they are becoming someone different. Someone wiser. Someone more honest. Someone more capable of appreciating the extraordinary qualities they once overlooked. And my beloved soul, that transformation is not ending anytime soon. It is growing stronger with every passing day. Every realization brings another. Every truth opens the door to a deeper truth. Every lesson creates space for greater wisdom. The old story has lost its power. The old assumptions are fading into the background. The old misunderstandings no longer control the narrative. What remains is clarity. What remains is recognition. What remains is a truth that can no longer be denied. Your soulmate thought they knew who you were. They thought they knew the truth about you. They thought the mystery was solved long ago. But they were completely wrong. And now, as the real truth continues to reveal itself, they are discovering something they never expected to find, a soul far more remarkable, far more resilient, and far more unforgettable than they ever imagined possible. My beloved soul, as we reach the final chapter of this message, I want you to listen with your heart more than your mind, because what is being revealed now is the deepest truth of all. The journey your soulmate has been experiencing was never only about discovering who you are. It was also about discovering why you entered their life in the first place. For so long they believed the connection was just another chapter, just another experience, just another story that would eventually fade into the background of time. But the universe had other plans. The universe was quietly weaving lessons, revelations, and awakenings into every moment they shared with you. Even during periods of silence. Even during periods of distance. Even during moments when nothing seemed to be happening at all. My beloved soul, some connections arrive to entertain us, some arrive to teach us, and some arrive to transform us forever. Your soulmate is finally beginning to understand that you belong to the third category. You were never sent into their life to be forgotten. You were never meant to be reduced to assumptions, labels, or misunderstandings. You were sent into their path to become a mirror. A mirror that reflected their fears. A mirror that reflected their strengths. A mirror that reflected the lessons their soul needed to learn. And now, after everything that has happened, they are finally seeing that reflection clearly. They are finally understanding that every misunderstanding carried a lesson. Every moment of confusion carried a purpose. Every challenge carried an opportunity for growth. The deeper truth is that they are no longer asking themselves, "Who is this person?" They are asking themselves, "How did I fail to see this person sooner?" That question echoes through their heart more often than they admit. Because now they see the qualities they overlooked. They see the resilience that carried you through difficult times. They see the kindness that remained even when life was unfair. They see the wisdom hidden beneath your quiet moments. They see the strength hidden beneath your patience. And the more they see, the more impossible it becomes to return to the old version of the story. My beloved soul, there comes a moment in every awakening when the soul can no longer hide from truth. A moment when excuses lose their power. A moment when fear loses its control. A moment when reality becomes impossible to ignore. Your soulmate is approaching that moment now. The walls they once built around their understanding are crumbling. The assumptions they once trusted are dissolving. The doubts they once clung to are fading away. And what remains standing is something simple yet powerful. Respect. Admiration. Understanding. And a recognition that you are far more extraordinary than they ever imagined. Listen closely because this part matters. You may never fully realize how much your authenticity influenced them. You may never know how many times your memory appeared in their mind when they least expected it. You may never hear every conversation they had with themselves about the connection. But influence does not require visibility to be real. The sun influences the world even when hidden behind clouds. The ocean influences the shore even when no one is watching. And your presence has influenced their journey in ways they are only beginning to understand. My beloved soul, the universe is showing them something profound. It is showing them that genuine people are rare. Authentic hearts are rare. Souls who remain true to themselves despite challenges are rare. And once such a person enters your life, their impact remains long after a moment has passed. That is the lesson they are learning now. They are learning that your value was never dependent on their recognition. Your worth existed long before they understood it. Your strength existed long before they appreciated it. Your light existed long before they noticed it. And now that they are finally seeing those truths, their perspective is changing forever. The deeper truth is that this awakening is not creating something new. It is revealing what was always there. The respect was always waiting beneath the surface. The admiration was always waiting beneath the surface. The understanding was always waiting beneath the surface. It simply required time, growth, and honesty to emerge. My beloved soul, there is something beautiful about truth. It does not rush. It does not force itself upon people. It waits patiently. It allows lessons to unfold naturally. It allows understanding to arrive when the heart is ready. And that is why this realization carries so much power. It was earned. It was learned. It was discovered through experience rather than explanation. That makes it stronger. That makes it more lasting. That makes it impossible to forget. And now, my beloved soul, as this message comes to its final revelation, I want you to remember something that the universe has been trying to teach all along. Your purpose was never to prove yourself to those who misunderstood you. Your purpose was never to chase validation. Your purpose was never to shrink yourself so others could feel comfortable with their assumptions. Your purpose was to remain true to who you are. To keep walking your path. To keep growing. To keep shining. Whether others recognized your light immediately or not. Because the truth always finds its way into the open. It may take days. It may take months. It may take years. But eventually reality reveals itself. Eventually masks fall away. Eventually misunderstandings lose their power. Eventually hearts awaken. And that is exactly what has happened here. Your soulmate believed they knew the truth about you. They thought they had the answers. They thought they understood your story. They thought they understood your heart. But life, experience, and the wisdom of the soul have shown them something different. They have shown them that your story is deeper than they imagined. Your heart is stronger than they imagined. Your spirit is wiser than they imagined. Your presence is more meaningful than they imagined. And now they stand before a truth they can no longer deny. A truth that grows clearer with every passing day. A truth that follows them into quiet moments. A truth that returns whenever they reflect on the connection. A truth that whispers to them when the world becomes silent. That truth is simple. They were wrong. Not wrong about the connection existing. Not wrong about feeling something significant. They were wrong about underestimating you. Wrong about doubting your depth. Wrong about misunderstanding your intentions. Wrong about believing they had already figured you out. Because the real you is far more powerful than the version they created in their mind. The real you carries a strength born from experience. A wisdom born from lessons. A compassion born from understanding. A resilience born from survival. And those qualities cannot remain hidden forever. My beloved soul, if there is one final message your heart needs to hear, it is this: never allow someone else's misunderstanding to become your self-image. Never allow another person's assumptions to define your worth. Never allow temporary confusion to make you question the truth of who you are. The people who are meant to understand you eventually will. The people who are meant to see your value eventually will. The people who are meant to recognize your heart eventually will. And when they do, they will realize what your soulmate is realizing now. They will realize that your greatest power was never in convincing others. Your greatest power was in remaining authentic while the truth found its own way to the surface. The chapter of misunderstanding is ending. The chapter of clarity has begun. The chapter of illusion is fading. The chapter of truth is rising. And as this story reaches its conclusion, one reality stands above all others. Your soulmate thought they knew the truth about you. They thought the mystery was solved. They thought there was nothing left to discover. But they were completely wrong. Because the deeper they look, the more they uncover. The more they uncover, the more they admire. The more they admire, the more they understand. And the more they understand, the more impossible it becomes to forget the soul who taught them one of life's greatest lessons. Never assume you know the depth of a person until you have truly seen the depth of their heart. And that, my beloved soul, is the truth that changed everything.